Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the HR Leaders Podcast, the show where we explore the future of work with industry experts and HR executives in the world's leading global brands. Today, I'm joined by Deepak Kumar, Chief HR Officer at Sidel Group. Welcome to the show, Deepak. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here, Chris.
It's nice to see you. We were talking about before the show how we've been speaking for like years.
Yes.
By social media and by email, and today was the first time we got to see and hear each other. So,
yeah, exactly. And it looks so familiar. It doesn't look like that I've never met you.
I know that's what we're talking about, right? It's probably people like, especially during these times, the amount of people that I'm connecting with online, and that even though we've never met face to face, I feel like we've always known each other, and that relationship's been there. It's a blur. The lines are blurring between virtual and physical.
Absolutely. And it may sound a little bit strange, but this is the reality of the world. And if you ask me, I would say that COVID has really hastened this process even very much, because during COVID, we were always connected virtually. And sometimes I imagine is that if there would not have been COVID, probably we would have taken much more time to be placed at the place where we are. Today, the COVID has hastened some of those technological changes and some of the helping to blur the line between reality and virtual world.
Before we go any further, Deepak, tell everyone a little bit more about your HR journey, your experience, and also a little bit about the business for people that aren't familiar with the organization.
I have almost 27 years of human resource experience. I started in Chennai, the city in India. I come from India, and I worked in that factory, and then I decided it's such an interesting aspect. Then they used to call it personal manager. Then I decided to do my MBA in human resource. I went to do MBA in human resource from an institute called XLRI in India, and I joined Tata Motors in India. And after working with Tata Motors, it was a wonderful experience. It's a learning laboratory, plant of 23,000 people. And I was managing a small shop of 5,500 people. You can imagine.
Small shop.
Yeah. This is what
that's a small shop.
Exactly. This is what they used to call. Okay. Oh, gearbox assembly shop. Oh, it's a small one. Because they were bigger shops.
It's the biggest company in India, right?
It was the biggest automobile company. And I was very lucky because from the commercial vehicle, they were going to the passenger car division. So I was one of the first employees to go to the passenger car divisions and set up the systems, hire people. And can you imagine how many people we hired in 6 months? 2,500 people we hired.
Oh, God.
So the scale was really big. And then I got opportunity to join Tetra Pak in India. And I worked with Tetra Pak in India. And after working, then I went to Tetra Pak Asia in Singapore. I was looking after the site of Singapore and also the market company of Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia. After working there for about 3 years, then I was very lucky to be invited to join the central HR team in Sweden, south of Sweden.
Was that your first move to Europe?
That was my first move to Europe, and it happened in 2010. It was as different as it could be to move
India
from Singapore. No. India to Singapore to Sweden.
Oh, so you went to Singapore first, then to, okay,
yes.
Wow.
And then to Sweden. And Sweden, I could not have chosen a better month to join. Sweden, I joined in January.
Oh, okay, right.
So it was a very cold, and in my life, I've never seen such cold, and there's so much of snow, and that was one of the coldest year as well. But it was for me learning about the company, because my previous company, Tetra Pak, was born in Lund. And I could see that through my stay in 3.5 years in Lund, I could understand the whole company, the whole culture, and a success that has been brought by the company. Then I got a chance to move to Switzerland in Lausanne, and I became Vice President HR for Supply Chain Operations. Almost 12,000 people and 45 factories all over the world. I was in Switzerland for 4 years in Lausanne, where Tetra Pak headquarters is. And I moved to Sidel about 3.5 years ago. Now I'm based in France. I'm working as human resource head for Sidel Group. Sidel has been a very innovative company. It invented the blowing in a region called Normandy. Blowing, the PET bottle blowing.
Oh, okay.
We are the inventor of blowing method in PET in 1965.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, and then we were the one to use it, and then we merged with a company which was having 127 years history of filling in Parma. So then we are a conglomerate of a French Italian company, which is when then we can combine the technology of filling, blowing, and labeling together. And now we are in the space of liquid food packaging.
Wow. It seems like a really theme in your career as well, right? From you're always in the manufacturing supply chain environment. It makes complete sense, right? You know, stick with the area that you know well. Obviously, you're changing industries from automotive to paper and packaging to what do you class now? What do you?
So we call it manufacturing and engineering.
Manufacturing and engineering. Okay, yeah, exactly. So super interesting. Well, thanks for the background experience. Then, how long have you been with Sidel now?
3 years, 3.5. Yeah, I joined in May, but I moved in France in September. Exactly 3 years. Yeah.
I want to go back for 1 second. It's just a bit off topic from today's title of the show, but I'd love for you to give some advice to people, or feedback on taking that first step into that international role. India to Singapore, Singapore to Sweden. It's Sweden now to France, where you are now. Looking back, what was it that made you say yes?
Thank you for asking this question, because it evokes a lot of my experience and memories and emotions as well. Because one of the things that made me where I am today is a curiosity, and I've always been wondering and trying to learn more. When I moved from Tata Motors to a multinational environment of Tetra Pak, it was a different world altogether, because I was working with a manager who did not come from my culture. He was a Spanish manager, and I used to call with people with Mr. and that respect. So they say, no, in Tetra Pak, there is no power distance. You have to call them by the first name. So it took me for some time for the learning. And I remember when I was offered the job and opportunity in Singapore. But the caveat was that if I leave India to go for Singapore, there will be no job in India, and we do not guarantee whether you will stay, because your assignment will be 3 years. Oh. And you know what I said? Absolutely okay with me. So you have to have the little bit of curiosity and a little bit of ability to take risk. And I could do that. And I must say that when you have a career like this and you move 5 countries, because I've been in Switzerland as well, and then now in France, I think you should have a supporting family. My wife and my 2 boys, now they are grown up, 26 and 21 year old. When they were young, they were excited to move around. Of course, not anymore. I would not say that we do not have the same agility, but that helped me a lot. I've been curious to see the different cultures, different way of working. And I think it has helped me a lot as well as a professional, because I have a more understanding for different behavior, and I know there is not one truth. There are different aspects of it.
How has that shaped your relationship over the years with your wife and kids then?
I'm very happy you are asking this question, because this we have reflected in our family. As an expatriate, I think more expatriate will be able to say this. When you lead an expatriate life, you develop more cohesiveness in the family. Because when you move from one country to another, in a culture which is very different from that. So who do you rely more for the first 6 months or 1 year before you take roots, before your kids make friends, before your wife has someone else who knows about it, is you depend on each other. So in fact, that's the reason we are a very cohesive family. And my 2 boys, and though they are now adult and 21 and 26, is that they are very still close to my wife, and we talk a lot. Whenever we get an opportunity, now they're in different places. Whenever we get an opportunity, our dinners and our lunches are long, because, and this is, as a family, we have enjoyed and we have used every opportunity to grow. If I can be a little bit more autobiographical, now I was very happy to see when my younger son, who is in Canada now, he says, I would like to thank you, Dad, for giving me the exposure that you have given me, because that makes me even a more multicultural and more accepting the differences in the world, and be a better global citizen.
Well, this wasn't the topic of the show, but I'm so happy to ask questions, because it's exactly insightful. And what you've just said there is something I've heard from many CHROs, or many, anyone who's lived that sort of expat lifestyle, is that their children become so much more resilient as well. Not only are they obviously understanding more of appreciation from a global perspective culturally, they're also very resilient because hence why your son's in Canada right now. They're very independent, very confident, strong, independent because they've been exposed to this throughout their childhood. On towards today's focus, obviously, when we were speaking before the show, you were saying to me, there is no success without people. And my role in HR is to make that happen. So that's the title of today's show for that exact reason. I think it's very fitting. But I know we spoke a lot about how you're supporting your employees through this current tough times. Do you want to talk a bit more about what are some of the things you've been doing to support employees through this?
No, exactly, because it's been, you are absolutely right, it's been a tough time. But before I go into the current time, I would like to share, because one thing which has been always with me as a philosophy is that there are two aspects of HR. One is the softer aspect and one is the harder aspect. And softer aspect is that, are you able to bring the best out of the people? Can you bring the engagement and energy? So this has been my all attempt during my different careers, different assignment, and different kinds of the work that I have done it, to bring the best out of the people. And sometimes we underestimate the potency of the HR process and tools, because the same performance management tool, you can drive a different behavior. By the same training tool, you can lead people to a different area. And when it's a recruitment is not only about you judging the person judging you and the company, and how do you use this opportunity to make it, you make all the people, those who come to your doorstep, as a fan of your company. And when it was a little bit, lockdown was starting to disappear in many of the countries, we did a survey because we wanted to know the voice of the people. And survey was very interesting. When we did survey, how safe do you feel to return to work? Chris, can you imagine what was the distribution of the people? Because there were three options. One option was, I feel absolutely safe to return to work. Another option was that I do not know. I cannot say. Third option was, I do not feel safe at all. It was 32, 33, 34% of the distribution.
Really?
So we were with the people, those who felt differently during COVID time. So what we did, because in some of the sites, like in my HR director in Italy, they started a hotline that you can talk to a psychologist, and some of the people went to and they talked to the person for advice, because some of them were not used to staying at home. They were traveling all the time, 70% of the time. And if they have to stay at home, it's a new reality for them. So I will not go into this private space, but sometimes you need to, you need to learn to cope up. Second is that we also introduce in some of our sites the mindfulness. I also encourage people to, I invited one of the person from Art of Living to create a session of mindfulness and the breathing exercise, because some people, they were finding it difficult because they were also worried about their health. So these are some of the initiative that we took. But we also communicated with the people. One of the things I can say, because we are in a liquid food packaging, and water, milk consumption continued. Even
you were very busy. You were full steam ahead.
Our factories were running, and many of the countries, our factories were considered as essential services, because we were meeting this criteria. So we had to bring our operators, our factory colleagues, and our FSCs to help them to travel. So we have to talk to them, and we had a very good discussion with the union, and we created some kind of a COVID recognition for them, because they should not feel while the rest of the people are staying at home, and then we have to come for the work. But there was also one more underlying thing, that we at all the time we communicated what precautions we are taking at our workplace: distancing, washing the hands, separating the canteens, creating, and it required a lot of efforts, and all the time more monitoring, but it really created a very good faith. And when we came out from this lockdown time, we had a very good review from our unions as well. They were appreciative of the care that we have taken during this period for our people.
Just out of curiosity as well, like naturally, I'm sure given the work that you do, a lot of those factories were probably like clean rooms anyway.
very clean because we follow TPN, we follow 5S in Japanese. But when it comes to social distancing, cleaning the machine, creating the social distancing during that period, and having that everybody washes their hand when they come there, and when they come with either public or their own transport and when they enter, they have to follow a certain routines. So that we were doing even
on top of.
more.
Let's talk about the systems and processes that you've put in place. I know you just recently rolled out the policy for this in terms of the work from home policy, or maybe not even from home, right? Tell everyone because everyone's looking here right now. How do we do this? How do we balance the return to work or workplace, should I say? And what systems and processes, policies? Because everyone's kind of there's no playbook for this. Tell everyone a bit about what you've done, but also why you made that decision.
As I shared with you that we have issued Agile Working Guideline last week, and it's been made public, and where we are allowing only 3 conditions. Number 1 is that you can work from home up to 10 days in a month. In a post-COVID situation, imagining that everything has disappeared and it's a normal one. So you can work from them. There's only second condition is that when you work for those 10 days, it is not necessarily your home. It could be your mother's home. It could be your vacation home, but it has to be in the same country. Because of the tax regions and because of those establishment issue, we want it to be in the same country. And the third and most important learning for us has been, it is between you and the manager. So earlier I remember, and this is what the learning during the COVID has been, if you have to apply for 1 day working from home, you have to apply through HR. HR looks at it, number of days, what is your job and where you can do, we'll talk to the manager. Now we say it is between you and your manager. And then why we are deciding it, because it's up to the employee. And if they want to come all 25 days or 22 working days in the office, they are most welcome to, right? So we are not putting, so we call it flexibility. So this has been one of the important aspect of flexibility. Second is that why flexibility is important, because we all are different people. As I shared with you, there was 1/3 people who were not willing to come home and 1/3 people were so eager to come back. So it is when we allow flexibility, it is up to me to decide which are the days that I want to come. Of course, some of the important days will be there. For finance team, there is a closing that the whole team has to be there. So we have to keep those flexibility. And because I was last week, I was in another plants in France, because new HR manager and new plant manager are there. So I've gone to meet them and spend some time with them. So I was talking to one of the HR staff, and I said, how you have been? I was meeting her after 7 months. How you have been? How you are doing it? She said, I'm doing very well. I said, that's very good to hear. So how did COVID and lockdown happen? I loved it. I said, what? Because it saved me 1 hour of traveling in the morning, 1 hour of traveling in the evening. Only time I missed my work during lunchtime, because I wanted to have someone to have lunch with. But this is, and I did not see any productivity drop on during that period. In fact, far from it, some of the people have really had this problem. They could not differentiate between work and the
stop working. Like I've definitely
and the personal. Exactly. So that you'll continue to sit, and then this is so that is a reason. So these are some of the guidelines, and I'm receiving very positive inputs and feedback from our colleagues and employees in Yammer.
When we last spoke, a lot of what you're talking about was about challenging the status quo. I know this has been an opportunity during COVID that many CHROs have used as leverage to challenge the norm in organizations and the work they're doing. How have you been looking at it? What lens have you been looking through?
Okay, I think this is very important. You say this, and this is exactly what the debate we are having in our group leadership team, my boss, CEO, and my colleagues. And we agree that from this phase, no one is going to stay as they are. Either you are going to come stronger or not. So what we call is that we are using this time to bring ourselves, to bring more strength and more focus on the areas that we are very important for companies' long-term sustainability. My CEO, and I'm very proud to have my boss, Monica Gimre, she says it, what we are doing, we have to make the fit for the business. We are here for the long-term stay. So then when we communicate this to employees, we are here for the long-term stay, it also helps them to take this slight dip in the business in its stride. because we are here for the long term in this business. So we are using all the opportunities. I give you an example. We have been thinking and talking about use of remote glasses for helping our field service engineers to fix machines.
The Oculus VR headsets, for example.
Yes. So those headsets. And we have been talking to the R&D, we are talking to the services department, and then they were coming together with those sales and services salespeople. And what was taking a month, it made it happen in 1 week time, because we did it during the COVID period, and we used those glasses, so we could overcome. So I want to see more and more such decisions taken, where we have been thinking of long, but the new situation has given a new environment and a new courage. And I think we'll have to break that inertia. We'll have to challenge it.
Normal though, right? That shouldn't be because of COVID. That should be the everyday way of working. I know it's easier said than done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is because sometimes you may not like it, but it is not a bad idea to piggyback on this COVID and then help people to change, because today is a time when people are more open and then they can see how things can change. So this is a fertile ground for people to bring to the new journey and new way of working. The VUCA word, it's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, and it is
ambiguous.
Ambiguous, yes.
That's all right. I always forget the last one as well.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you very much, Chris, for that. So what we said in the VUCA, we will remove the volatile word with a vision. And we are one of those rarest company. Last month, in the month of August, launched a new vision statement for Sidel, where we want to be in 2030. So some people might think, is this the right time? I said, yeah, because people have to hold on to certain things which are not changing every day, but they are very perennial, and they are there as our North Star. So
you need that, right? Yeah, yes, exactly. I think what you said is so important. Having that vision, the why, the purpose, you can hold on to that even when there's chaos or dips in the business. Like you said, that's the North Star. That's where we're going. That's what we're doing. And it's great to see you and the team embrace that in your decision making as well. And that's something that I took for granted before this happened. That's how we are as a startup. That's one of our biggest strengths, is that we can move so quickly. The decision making process here is me and a few of my colleagues, and then we're done. And we can move super fast, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why I know, for example, in the events industry, which is where I am, a lot of the larger organizations kind of went out of business, whereas we're now thriving because we could innovate and disrupt ourselves very quickly and make decisions and move forward. Some of them went well, some of them didn't, but that's fine. That's also okay. That's part of the process as well. But as a large organization, there's so much red tape and so many policies and processes that it normally takes long. How do you design that to make sure you stay agile, right? And that you continue operating that way? I'm sure you and the team have identified some bottlenecks that you were creating yourselves. Because a lot of times
this is exactly what is needed. A traditionally successful company, but becoming agile like your your company or any startup. It's not easy things to do, but we'll have to continue to strive, continue to get better every day.
What about from a technology point of view? Has this made you rethink some of the systems, processes, some of the technologies that you have in place? Is that something you and the team that are reassessing, or not right now? It's kind of too much going on. Because I know.
No, this is absolutely right, because our IT department has really been, because we have moved from I share with you because I do not know. We have moved from a system of Skype where only audio was there to a system where we are having more and more meetings with video. So this has been the one thing. We had a 110 leaders conference through the video, 120 people, 110, 120 people conference for 2-day conference on a video. And we used the technology for that. And I shared with you those glasses that we can have the remote access, that we are doing it now. So these are some of the technology that we are using for future work. And we are more understanding and I think you would agree that the future of the work is going to change, because it was already evolving.
It's already changed.
Speed has been hastened up. So we'll have to look more and more technological solution.
What about from your own HCM platform, though? The software that you're offering, have you made some changes, or are you looking to make some changes there? Because do you feel like you had the right HCM suite in place, etc.? Have you made any changes in that?
Yes, we had the HCM suite in place. We were very lucky. 1.5 years ago, we launched Cornerstone. Cornerstone, and we combined. There were multiple systems. We combined into one. We call it MyLink. It is MyLink with the company, MyLink with my development, and we are seeing it. The traffic on MyLink is going up and up, and also we have a intranet inside where more stories. And I was not a great fan of Yammer, but in order to compensate for my inability to meet people, go around and talk to them, I'm really going on any picture or any of the stories is put, I really go and interact, and I feel like I'm interacting with I'm interacting with this engineer who has done a wonderful job at customer, like a face to face, because I write them, then he also interacts. So these are some of the things. I was not myself a great user of Yammer, but I've started doing it.
That's what I meant in the beginning of this show when I said about how this is bringing us closer together. Because if it wasn't for this, you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have connected with that member of that team, and interacted, and that show of gratitude from your part and recognition is huge for those employees. And there's so many connections that are being made, even on those company calls where briefing everyone. There's people on there getting to know each other and networking that just never, from different parts of the world, they would have never connected outside of that beforehand. Yeah. So there's all of those. I don't say guarantee, but I'm sure over the coming months, years, we're going to see a lot more innovation and partnerships throughout different organizations being created through technology and through these connections.
I'm reflecting when you are speaking these words, and there is this one thing that has come in my mind from that reflection, is that interaction, not only interaction has increased, interaction has become more egalitarian. Probably if I go and visit Dubai office, I will meet some people, but I will not meet the sales manager or sales director who has sold a super combi. But when he sold a super combi and a news came, then I wrote him, congratulations, it was a wonderful thing. The first super combi sold in super combi is a very advanced machine for us. Sorry for using that word.
I think we got it by the word super.
So then, okay, this is wonderful. You have done it, and then we interacted.
Yeah.
And this is really, it is cutting across the hierarchy.
What have you learned about yourself through this, Deepak? Right, probably arguably one of the toughest times in recent events to be a CHRO in an organization. What was the biggest learning moment that you've taken away from this personally, not the business, you personally, Deepak?
I was not sure whether I will be able to work from home, because my profile is an extrovert profile. I get my energy and I give energy by interaction. So I was not sure whether I'll be able to work from home, and how do I feel sitting in a room in my study room and doing this work. So I was thinking I might not be able to, but it took me 2 or 3 days to get used to work. Of course, the speed of work was also increased. But then what I learned about myself was that you can adapt, and you can adapt more than what you think you can.
This is adapt and thrive.
Exactly. And the thriving part, you are right, thriving part came later on, because then I said, okay, I'm missing the interaction. Why not I interact through Yammer? So earlier the news story used to come and I would read and I would not react. Now I react. So these are the few things that I have, if you want my learning, and thank you for forcing me to think like that, think about it, but these are some of my learning.
From what you've just said, you'll probably continue that. Next time you see that announcement, you're probably more likely to react and say congratulate. Even that one moment of just congratulating that person for selling that super, whatever you said it was. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, but just that, you have no idea. Like that they will remember that. They will remember that Deepak sent me a message saying congratulations. or it means so much.
You are so right. And Chris, it's very important the way you have explained it. It is also the responsibility of the senior leader, which I say is the energy and engagement. By this, they generate lots of energy, and it's only a pat on the back. Good job.
Yeah.
And we need to take time, and we are responsible. This is what I've always felt, for the level of energy in our environment, in our company, in our team.
It's a direct reflection, right? Because I guarantee you that individual, next time he or she sees something, they will probably take the action themselves to say, well done. Because you did the same thing for them, right? And again, it's like same with me, how I learned as well, or the importance of, if someone gets a deal in the office, or I'm just talking about sales because that's a lot of my background. Yes. The importance of taking a moment just to say congratulations, and then making sure that you show that gratitude and appreciation. And what is a few minutes for you, for that other person is huge. And is very impactful.
Absolutely. It is very impactful, and I totally agree with you. That's the reason, because I like the title of this discussion, Success with People. And when I say success with people, it's also success for the people. It is inherent, it's a hidden in this title. And I share with you, because my experiences, I've always been, recognition is much, much better than any negative reinforcement. If you put a pat on someone's back for doing a good job, you not only recognize him, but you encourage more other such performance by the people, those who are watching it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I have the huge experiences with my experience in the offices, in the shop floor on that. It has made wonders.
I'm conscious of time, Deepak. It was a pleasure talking with you, and I think we could talk forever. And it is the first time we've spoken, and it feels like this is the 10th time we've actually been on a video call together. So it was a real pleasure. Before we wrap up, if there's sort of one kind of parting message you want to leave with the audience, what would that be? And then where's the best place everyone can connect with you if they want to reach out and say hello?
Okay, I think what I can say is, from my experience, is that always be open for learning. And if you learn and then you reflect, so you can make it better every day for yourself and for your team and for your organization. So that is the philosophy that I have always worked. So I still love to be challenged, love to be proved wrong. And that helps me to grow as a person, as a professional.
And where's the best place people can connect with you?
Is on LinkedIn.
Where we connected.
Yes, exactly. Where we connected. It's about 3.5 years ago. Yeah,
3.5 years ago. It took us 3.5 years ago to make a podcast together. We got her in the end. So for all those people, Deepak, that say to me on LinkedIn, and Chris, how do you get these guests? Right? It's just reaching out and connecting. Right? Don't be afraid of. Again, people are afraid of not getting a reply, or you're not going anywhere. But kind of, what have you got to lose? And that's why I reached out to Deepak and said, look, I'd love to have you on the show. I've seen your background experience looks incredible, and love to learn more. And here we are. So that's the value of doing that. I really appreciate your time joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. It was wonderful to talk to you.
Fantastic. Absolutely. And for everyone else listening, thank you always for tuning in, whether you're on LinkedIn Live or on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you are, on iTunes. Thank you. We really appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, comment, share, so that others can benefit from the great knowledge and experience. If you're not already subscribed, you can head over to hrdleaders.com/subscribe. You can subscribe via your favorite platform. And we'll see all of you again tomorrow. Have a good evening, Deepak, and I'll see you again soon, okay?
Have a good evening. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.